There are so many franchises out there that started back in the 80s and 90s that we never really saw in the West until recently. And those Western releases for some of these series are even rarer on consoles, mostly migrating to just PC and Steam. Princess Maker is one of those franchises. If you want to play in English without any fan-made stuff, you pretty much just have to go to PC and Steam, at least until this week when one of the games came out on PC as well as the Nintendo Switch. A port of Princess Maker 3, here is my review of Princess Maker Fairy Tales Come True for the Nintendo Switch. The story of Princess Maker 3 revolves around a man that's visited by the Fairy Queen, requesting for him to raise a young fairy who wants to be a human princess. The man, or the player character, agrees and takes her as his own daughter. He or you then spend 8 years raising her into adulthood with the goal of teaching her everything she needs to know on your journey together. The story of this game is really cute because of that fairy tale magical theme to it. It's a story that you could just easily see in an actual fairy book or a fairy tale, though the story does have its ups and downs. The good or great part of the story is the fact that the girl progresses and changes each year, not only in appearance, but how she looks, what she talks about, what she's doing with her life, and that can change depending on what your choices are and how you go through each playthrough. And that's just really neat and good storytelling and mechanics. The sheer amount of variety and versatility in how life experiences will change her as she grows. Now, the downside of the story isn't really the story's fault, but the translation's fault. Much like its PC release, there's a lot of statements in the game with words that are arranged incorrectly, put in incorrectly, and all around just sound and look awkward. Each mistake isn't that big on its own, it's just the sheer amount of them that makes it a problem. When it comes to gameplay, Princess Maker 3 is a child-raising simulation game. Across its entirety, you will be managing the life and finances of your child, from sending them to class to having them work at part-time jobs. Now, first of all, this version of Princess Maker 3 is mostly based off of the Steam English release that came out in 2017. There are a few small differences in the UI and font the game uses, and some new music tracks, but overall it feels very similar. In terms of progression, the game is remarkably simple, but oddly complex, and I'll explain why. At the beginning of the game, you set up your daughter character and your character, setting birthdays and the father's occupation. Then you can send your daughter to various classes to study and part-time jobs to help her make income for herself, filling out a schedule and managing your own finances for what each activity costs and how much you get back for each job she does. The great part about this system is how the daughter can grow and how her stats change depending on what you have her do and how often. This also ties into what route you go on and which of the 60 different endings the game has that you actually get. Just like I said in the story section, there are so many different paths and so many things you can do to change your daughter's occupation, personality, and really just where her life is going. The main problem is, you don't know how to do anything, and you're not really told how to do anything. Literally everything you do changes the daughter's stats and personality in different ways, and even what occupation you choose can dictate how much you can do and how much you can't do. For example, if you're like me and choose the traveling merchant job, you're making things a lot harder on yourself. Most of the occupations have a salary and income, so you automatically get money. If you choose traveler, you don't get a dime, and the only money you really have to spend on classes, shopping, and gifts for the daughter are the daughter's own income from the jobs you send her to. It's little things like this that make me think there needs to be a tutorial, a hint in the right direction, just to make sure you don't make those fatal mistakes and not even realize you made them until your money runs out and you wonder where it went. But once you get past that difficulty curve and figure things out, the real beauty of the game starts to shine. You've got all these different activities that you can send her to and watch her progress and get better at them the more she does them, but you've also got a lot of scripted events that will come up, from the daughter just asking you your opinion on something to having her partake in beauty contests at nearby festivals. All of these events are really neat the first time you see them, though it doesn't take too long for you to realize that this game is a bit of a grind. Once you have those activities set in, you basically just do the same ones over and over again to get your stats up through each year, and all of those unique events start repeating themselves, making them not seem so unique anymore, especially when you start seeing them multiple times in the same small time frame. Though I think the lack of variety in what you can do is one reason for why this feels so grindy, mostly stemming from the fact that the RPG dungeon crawling mode called Adventure Mode from Princess Maker 2 was removed for Princess Maker 3. Now when it comes to content and length, how long a playthrough lasts for you really varies on what you're doing, what path you're going at, and how much you schedule all at once. On average, I would put a single playthrough somewhere around 5 to 10 hours. Now let's dive into presentation, which is a little strange. Compared to the original and the PC version, the visuals are definitely enhanced, but not by very much. The actual character models look slightly smoother on the Switch than they do on PC and Steam, but most of the game doesn't look that different, and just like on PC, it's still locked to a 4:3 ratio with borders on the side. I don't really have anything to say about performance, so let's go right into battery life. On the original model, Princess Maker 3 has a battery range of 5 hours and 8 minutes up to 7 hours and 10 minutes. On the Nintendo Switch Lite, it has a range of 5 hours and 17 minutes up to 7 hours and 43 minutes. And on the Redbox or V2 model, it has a range of 6 hours and 51 minutes up to 9 hours and 34 minutes. In conclusion, Princess Maker 3 finally comes to the consoles on the West and is basically the same as its original and PC versions. Now on the downside, the game is pretty grindy and repetitive with less modes than previous games, along with quite a few translation errors that makes reading all of the text a bit odd. Tying that with the rather large price gap between its MSRP and the MSRP of the Steam version, it's something that's cute and fun to play but best bought when it's on sale. Reviews to Go rates Princess Maker Fairy Tales Come True for the Nintendo Switch a 6 out of 10. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. Thanks for watching and have a great day.